All right, and now to wrap things up with our 8th and final segment, we've got Xbox One versus the PlayStation 4. That was like the big shit going on at E3. Everyone knew that these two were going to be going at it. Everyone already had an idea on what they were going to bring. Obviously, Nintendo has kind of removed themselves from this arms race, which I think was a smart move, and let these guys battle it out because they would lose in all of the comparison wars. But, you know, I mean, first off, I mean, where do we even start with this, right? I will straight up say, just so everyone knows, that I have also pre-ordered a PlayStation 4. And at this point in time, I have not pre-ordered an Xbox One. It doesn't mean that I won't get one. It just means that I believe that I want to see what their PC initiative is going to be. Because I am the kind of gamer that will fucking buy an Xbox One to play exclusives. Like, you got me. I'm sorry. You know, like, I'm a fanboy of whatever, but I just want to play the best fucking games. If I have to drop $600, $500, whatever, to end up playing that, I will. As evident the fact that I have a Wii U just so I could play Lego City Undercover, you know? So, like, I mean, I just put that out there right away because I am by all stretches of the imagination a PS4-ologist now. I've upgraded after paying to the Church of Sony. But I did learn a little bit about, you know, at least Xbox and Microsoft's initiatives. And while I still don't necessarily agree with them, I do find it interesting to understand their mindset and where they're going with that. But I don't know. Where do you want to start with this conversation?
I mean, I think where we have to start is just the conferences themselves and the things that were said by each party and how those will kind of impact launch. Not particularly games, but just kind of what they said about the consoles themselves. I mean, Xbox One, obviously, their big thing was that they dropped the price, $499.
Right.
Kind of steep. I was expecting maybe like $450 or maybe different SKUs.
And you know what? Like, here is the biggest thing, right? They required the Kinect. That has to be $100. Like, that to me, but again, it comes down to their initiative and where they want to go. And the fact that, you know, there were even software developers that said, we want to do more with the Kinect, but we can't because it's not in every single household. So it is a risky move. It is a gamble that Microsoft takes, basically making this a requirement of the system.
So, and one thing, I mean, when I saw that price, I immediately thought, well, we're still a long ways from launch. They said November. Microsoft also kind of left themselves an out by saying a launch day edition. I think that was the term that they had on the graphic on stage. And there's been really no talk from Microsoft or Sony, for that fact, of subsidized purchases. So you buy an Xbox One for $399, and with this ISP, you're locked in for 2 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is definitely something that could happen, and I really expect to happen. But they need stuff like that. Otherwise, I worry for them, especially with all of their policies that they already have out there. Like, they're trying to do something that I think is a couple 5 to 10 years off. I think that is definitely future of this industry, but we're not there yet.
You think it's still too soon?
I think it's still too soon. Like, to throw that on consumers all at once, like, as a consumer,
the thing is,
like, oh, fuck that.
Okay, so here's the interesting take on this, right? Because I agree with you. Again, like, I am not necessarily on Microsoft's side as far as where they want to go, but the facts are out there. It is, for me anyway, JP, is that I'm already consuming a lot of digital media, right? Yeah. Like, I am to the point now where, yes, I'm still buying Blu-rays, but I'm almost buying them for the ability to have them on the cloud more than I am the disc, right? So I'm already slowly but surely going that way. Aaron Greenberg of Microsoft makes it very clear. We are making a gamble by going the digital route versus a disc-based route. They said it. And I asked Aaron, I was like, Aaron, Here's what's interesting to me. I feel like you guys made a gamble when you chose HD DVD over Blu-ray when you in the last generation. He said,
Sure.
I understand why you'd think that way, but that was a format war. The HD DVD wasn't a part of the Xbox, and I would say that our biggest gamble of the 360 was actually Xbox Live. Can we create something that people will pay money for? And the answer is yes. They fucking absolutely did it. But one of the most amazing things that sort of that I kind of saw post-show is that everyone approached this from their roots. For example, Microsoft, their roots are a fucking OS. They are software. Their focus is on their OS, their box as a device, and making everything work together. Sony has always been a technology company, and that's definitely sort of this is the the technology to play games or whatever. Nintendo has always been a toy company, and that's still kind of where they sit in all of this. So with that being said, how do you launch a digital strategy in the middle of a console generation, right? Because they have made the overhauled Xbox to bring this experience. And again, I'm not justifying why they're right. I'm justifying their decision for doing it now versus 2 years when it might make a lot more sense. Because, they don't have all the answers. What about guys that are capped on their internet?
Yeah,
I don't know, right? But but that fucking sucks for them. So I feel like they're going to run into a lot of roadblocks here. But if the strategy pays off, cloud and or digital downloads is kind of the way everything is going anyway. And I don't know about you, JP. I'd love to hear your opinion, but I eventually see myself going that way anyway. With that being said, if I don't get a disc, I'm not fucking crying myself to sleep.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm 100%. If someone flipped the switch tomorrow and said, hey, you can only purchase games digitally, and it was reliable, and all of these servers stayed up for The Last of Us release, and it didn't take 10 hours to download it, and I'm fucking there before it even happens. Like, I am all for that world to exist. But I don't think we're there yet. I think that Microsoft is definitely future-proofing their console a little bit, kind of like what you were getting at, but and that might hurt them in the long run. I mean, PS3 kind of made this gamble when that launched 7 or 8 years ago with the Blu-ray. Like, it launched pretty pricey. Like, it was
if
pretty
Blu-ray failed,
console.
PlayStation 3 failed, right?
Yeah, because it became like an entertainment system.
It would have ended up being like a fucking Dreamcast disc, which was like a proprietary 1.7 gigabyte disc. Yeah.
And it had the best Blu-ray experience. And when you would go to buy a Blu-ray player, it was like, well, do I want to buy one of these that's okay, or do I want to buy the PS3, which is also a game console? And I don't know. I will say that what was said by Sony was probably the smartest thing I have ever seen a company do, to just go out and literally just start fucking bullet by bullet shitting all over what Microsoft announced. And then to throw out the commercial with Adam Boyes in it and Shu, like, holy shit, that was a fucking like punch in the dick to Microsoft. That was such a huge blow to them on such a global scale. Huge scale. It was just I honestly could not believe that we were watching a press conference when this shit started to come out, because it was so direct and was such an attack.
It was absolutely like, we are going to bullet point for you why we are white knighting the fuck out of this. And I mean, like, the funny thing is it wasn't even a feature. They were not going into their marketing meetings going, okay, how are we going to push that we can play used games and you can do this and that? So, like, Microsoft fucking walked up to them and, like, soft pitched them a throw in the 9th inning when it was tied for the fucking World Series title. Like, hey, I'm going to throw this underhand for you, and here you go. Can I just interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Now I'm fucking putting the fanboy hat on, motherfuckers, okay? If one more motherfucker tells me, well, wait, Sony now makes you pay for multiplayer. my response is, first and foremost, Microsoft has been making you pay for that shit since day motherfucking one.
Yeah, exactly.
And second of all, I already get that motherfucking shit with PlayStation Plus, which basically bends Xbox Live Gold over and fucks it in the ass. So I don't know how you use this as a fucking anti-Sony argument. It makes no fucking sense. So shut up. I'll gladly pay my $5 fucking because I'm already getting all the benefits of the fucking PlayStation Plus, which I also get on my motherfucking Vita and my PS3 and my PS4, and that shit transfers over. Fucking
yeah. When I saw that they were charged for that, I was like, well, okay, it's fine with me. I don't give a fuck. And I love that you walked away, but it's like
I don't get it. It like that has been building up for like 3 days. People been saying, but what about the fact? I felt nice to get it out, man.
I didn't.
Felt real good, man.
I mean, I saw that and I was just like, well, I don't fucking care. Like to go back to the press conference, like I have not seen people go that crazy for it. They were chanting Sony in the audience, Wheat. Chanting the fucking company's name at a press conference. You know? That has not happened for like ever. For the longest time. It was insane. Like I left that conference I think it ended like at 10 o'clock Central or something like that. I was so fucking hyped up because of how that conference went down that I actually could not sleep. Like I was really fucking excited for the future and what happened.
I mean, I was excited all around, right? I mean, honestly, I've been through fucking 3, maybe 4 even generations of console wars, right? At the end of the day, like I said, I'm gonna come off as like a fanboy, but honestly, I just as a gamer want to play fucking good games. Yeah. You know, and like I walked away from it all like, yeah, I'm going to laugh. Yes, the Xbox One comparison with the brick photo is fucking hilarious. But I also, I mean, I wish success on both consoles. I do believe that the PlayStation 4 has a chance to come out and regain a market share that I believe they lost to Microsoft during
100%.
the PS3 versus 360.
There's no doubt about it. Like, if someone says PSN compared to Xbox Live is better, I mean, there's a reason why 1 billion fucking people play all of their multiplayer games on Xbox compared to the PS3. It's because the fucking community is not there on the PS3, right? Like,
absolutely right.
So if they can come out of the gate like that, and they have a ton to prove to those new consumers, and if they can do that, like Sony is going to be in a fucking amazing position going into the next gen. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to answer to the same questions that Microsoft has already kind of put out there, or maybe not. They've already answered to them, but react to them differently. Because like it is the future like that is so undecided, and
it is. Microsoft
was the first to kind of take a stab at it, and people saw that and immediately got outraged, rightfully so. But they're already kind of thinking that way and going to that stage, which eventually everyone's going to have to start thinking about that type of shit, because that's the world that we're going to be living in 10 years from now. I think. I mean, it could all fucking change. We could stay in this weird brick and mortar world and not go into this digital world. But I think that coming out of E3, the PS4 and Sony are miles ahead, and Microsoft has so much ground to make up that they need to start doing it yesterday. Like, they got to, and all those comments that came out of E3 are just not helping them at all. Like I think it was Don Matrick came out and saying, "Oh,
good alternatives are buying an Xbox 360." Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sure that the other whoever he answers to, I guess shareholders and whatnot, we're just like, I can't believe you just said that. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, then, you know,
you
I
could
mean,
see
like,
Jeff Keighley in the interview here.
hey,
In his mind, he was just like having a fucking mind
brain
explosion.
melt, right? Like, one thing I have to give Microsoft props. They actually have been like sticking to their guns.
That's
like,
true.
They're
Maybe
like,
stubborn
fuck
is
it,
the
man.
better way
Yeah,
to
stubborn.
look at it,
Stubborn about their strategy. And they admit it is a gamble. So I don't think they're like, yeah, this is going to work and you're going to like it and you're going to love it. Like the fact that Aaron Greenberg's like, this is our gamble this generation, is going this way. And we're ready to embrace it. Like, I could see a rocky start. But, like, never count Microsoft out because they've got a massive install base. I do think their choice of the regions thing is a bit odd. Like, the fact that there are literally only X amount of countries that will be able to do it. And, you know, a great example is this. Cheapy D. Like, good buddy of mine runs Cheap Ass Gamer. Lives in Japan. And right now, there's not, you know, they're saying, like, there's no release or even on launch, whatever.
They said it was. I think they said it was 2014 release.
Right. So to play, he was like trying to figure out if there was a way he could like hack, and people like you might be able to proxy and stuff. But Microsoft was kind of like, no, you're not gonna happen. But
that's kind of weird.
It is kind of a fuck you to everyone not in those 21 countries.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Microsoft is in a weird position right now. And consumers are fucking picking up Sony and the PlayStation 4 and parading them around like fucking champions.
Yeah, I mean,
right now. Probably rightfully so. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
What do you think of what's interesting about this console generation and this now race that has begun, the arms race for the next generation, is that social media, Reddit, etc., are prevalent when they were not, 7 years ago. The social media and actually Reddit specifically, I cannot believe how anti-Xbox they are.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just
and it happens at such a weird time in like American news because you have all this Prism shit happening and no, I'm not comparing what Microsoft is doing to Prism.
But it's in people's minds.
Yeah, so they're like, well, what the fuck are you doing, Microsoft? Like, they definitely are drawing parallels or thinking both at the same time, right? So,
yeah, that's a little
weird, man.
It's a little weird, dude. So, I mean, that's kind of where I sit with things now. I got to tell you, this is going to be fucking just eat some popcorn. Sit back, eat some popcorn. It's going to be amazing to watch.
This is what has me the most excited. What if Sony hasn't said when it's coming out except fourth quarter 2013, right?
Right. Oh my God.
What if Black Friday comes around and the Xbox One and the PS4 launch on the same day?
Dude.
Like, I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know how to, they wouldn't do that, right? Right? Like,
if I was Sony right now, after the response that we just got, I'm head of Sony, I'm coming off. Everyone loves PlayStation 4. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
If I would have come out as the second place guy, no way. So maybe Sony not announcing their price was actually in hopes to not only see what Microsoft was going to be shooting for.
You mean announce the date?
The date, I'm sorry, is what I meant to say. The date, but also the ability to say, well, we came in second, so we need to release first, or we kicked their ass, so we need to release first or on the same day.
God, man.
But in no situation would they ever want to release after the 360. So it actually puts them at a huge advantage by not announcing their release date. Yeah.
But God, if like that, thinking about the fact that if they launch on the same day, not only gives me goosebumps, but it makes me incredibly anxious because of what that looks like. What the lines at Walmart, GameStop, Best Buy, fries.
Yeah, man.
Everything. Like, there would probably be fights occurring, Wheat, over this shit in like these lines. There will be fanboys like trying to slap each other to death over these consoles if they launched on the same day. And I don't think it's all that much of a stretch for it to occur. If it happens, I would not be surprised. And I kind of want it to. I
kind of want it to as well. I want to see the world burn, JP, and I think that would be amazing. I do too, man.
Like,
to
God,
see.
I don't know. I hope so. So yeah. And the best part, Weed, is that we didn't even mention that Sony announced how much it was, and I think that's just...
Oh, my God, yeah.
It's like so indicative of where the world stands right now on Sony versus Xbox, you know?
Yeah, the $100, that was just...
In the press conference on that was just fucking like Sony taking their dick out and just slapping Microsoft in the face, dude. It was
amazing.
The next day, Jack Tredden was actually on Game Trailers, and as they were wrapping the interview up with Jeff Keighley, he took the mic and just threw it behind him and walked off out of the interview. And I was like, well, that's what they did last night.
Pretty much.
That's what happened.
Pretty much.
So I'm fucking excited, man.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited.
I am. And that's going to pretty much wrap up our 8 bits for the week and what a show E3 was. It certainly gave us plenty to talk about. And there are probably so many games that we didn't even get a chance to actually hit. So you've got some news?
Yeah, so obviously we're still, I mean, the show is very much still in beta. Like, we're still working on graphics. We toned down the whiteness of the background for you guys. We've got a lot of complaints about that. Yeah. In the comments thread on YouTube, please let us know what you want to see. Next week, we're doing a show. You're still down for Friday, right?
Yep.
1 p.m. EDT?
Yep.
Perfect. So next Friday, we'll be joined 99.9% sure by Brad Shoemaker of GiantBomb.com. He will be the first guest on the show and should introduce a more dynamic, opinionated show, hopefully. He's a big Dota 2 fanboy. He's very well known over at GiantBomb.com, so go check out some of his stuff if you've never been to that site. And then, I mean, the future guests are kind of limitless. Like, we can really go so many ways. I've been talking with Lethal Frag. I've been talking with Man vs. Game. Day 9 will probably show up. We'll definitely get in our esport friends in the future. Yeah, we'll see. Like, I've got a ton of people I want to get on the show. I just have to get them confirmed, you know. So
awesome. That's good news. All right, any final words then to wrap? Is that it?
I'll just say, go buy The Last of Us. Go play it. If you want to watch a playthrough of it because you can't afford it, or you just want to see me squirm like a little girl because it gets pretty fucking scary, you can go watch it all on my channel. You do have to be a sub, though. I will be putting that up on YouTube, but it's going to come after my Demon Souls playthrough, which I haven't even finished yet. So that'll be quite some time, but I beat it in one sitting yesterday. Fantastic game. I don't know when we'll talk about that because it is such a story-driven game that even showing 2 seconds of a clip anywhere in that game could spoil it for someone.
A lot, right?
So I don't know when we talk about that. Maybe we do a special
off or something.
Yeah, a special bit, just us two or someone else in there as well, where we just open the show up saying, like, we will spoil this.
Yeah,
do not watch it.
Exactly. I'm down with that. I like that.
But it's a fucking amazing game. Like, I beat it last night. I still have not stopped thinking about it. Has made me a little bit depressed thinking about that much because it is such a... Don't go into that game expecting a heartwarming experience. I'll just say that much. Yeah. So
all right, awesome.
That's all I got, man.
I'm not beating it yet. I'm a couple hours in. I'm gonna have some dinner and be jumping right back into it. So, and no, I'm not streaming. But I told the guys that maybe I would literally. They were like, "Well, why not?" It's like I want to play it on a 60-inch television with fucking 7.1. You know, like I want the full experience. So, I might actually just flip my camera around, and you can. Living room style.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. Just enjoy the living room style of it. But Yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow as well. Did some subscriber giveaways. I got a lot of gear, a lot of stuff from E3 that I'm going to give away that I think is pretty cool. So subs tomorrow. I'll see you on the channel. We're going to play some Solstice Arena. I'm going to get JP to play it. We're going to own some noobs, some StarCraft, whatever. Either way, it'll be fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of 8 Bits. We'll see you Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Is that it?
I think that's a show. I think we did it.
All right, we're out of here. We'll see you next time, bitches. Peace.